Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are here live from my little studio in Branson, Missouri. It's Ryan's World, and ladies and gentlemen, today I have an awesome friend. He's a journalist. He's an on-air personality. Welcome, Josh Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, brother? Thank you.
Yes. Now, the show you're on, that we go on, is called The Upside.
The
right?
Upside, right, with Josh and them. I originally had a partner,
Right.
and he took a very lucrative gig in Vegas. So when I had difficulty finding a full-time partner, I just got rotating guests to come on and hang out with me, and it became Josh and them.
Is it them, or is it like apostrophe EM?
No, yeah, Josh and them.
Josh and them.
Now, technically, for the scholars and whatnot, it's ampersand and then the word them, but we always pronounce it, like daddy and them. You know how we do inside.
I got you. All right. Well, you can tell he's a journalist.
That's right.
All right. So it's on Legends 106.3 here in Branson.
That is correct. Also, you can go to the Facebook page, The Upside with Josh and Them. That's spelled out ANDTHEM on Facebook. We do a live stream every day, and we keep the mic live pretty much the whole time. So when there's music playing, we're talking extra time to guests and whatnot. Just a little more of a casual podcasty kind of thing. Also, Legends1063.fm. We have a listen live where you can take us anywhere in the world.
There you go. That's awesome. And when I was on last time, we had people from Europe.
Oh, dude, 100%, man. That's the beauty of the social medias now, because I have folks like yourself, like Dean Z. These folks come on, Rhonda Vincent, the Queen of Bluegrass. These people come on, and then they share our page with folks, right? Yeah. So we picked up folks. I mean, some dude checks in from Taiwan every once in a while. It's awesome.
And that's my wife has a radio station app of some sort. I don't even know what it is.
Tune in.
It might be, You can get any station anywhere in the world, man.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yep.
So, well, we're honored and privileged, ladies and gentlemen, to have this guy here. He was one of 3 judges at the Branson Elvis Festival's Ultimate Elvis Tribute Artist Contest in 2022, just about a month or so ago.
Yep, about.
Yeah, and you've judged over the years many times, if I'm not mistaken.
It's either 7 or 8. We had the unpleasantness that happened over the last couple of years, and then last year was you had the celebrity judges. Like, why would I even think that I would need to judge over Wink and Sandy Martindale and
for sure
Ronnie McDowell, right? Yeah. So I was glad to take a back seat, but when Jeannie called this year, I was ready to get back into it, and we had some different judges this year, which I think was very interesting as well. Yeah,
we were talking, and we wanted to have that diversity, but I felt that it was important to have a background in. Obviously, you got to know something about Elvis. Mm-hmm. Otherwise you're kind of just categorically disqualified.
Yep.
But I do feel like having an entertainment background of some sort was important to have on the panel. Mm-hmm. And we have had that kind of in the past and whatnot, but I just thought it was interesting to get a guy like a Doug Gabriel or a Jack Knudsen, who, are here in Branson. They're local entertainers. Everybody knows them.
And they do totally different things as performers. Yeah.
And you can really weight something to Elvis sometimes almost. Mm-hmm. And then you're not getting maybe the understanding of, hey, this guy really is an amazing vocalist.
Right.
Okay. He might not even sound exactly like Elvis, but man, he's got chops. Mm-hmm. Or someone who can look at the situation and say, man, those moves are incredible. And I know what it takes to do that because that's something that I've had experience in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's just all kinds of different aspects. Obviously yours, you can tell your story, but growing up, just a big Elvis fan.
I mean, that was one of those things where, Dad always made sure that we listened to great music. I grew up listening to stuff from the 50s, 60s, 70s, from country to Led Zeppelin, right? When I was a teenager, I even dabbled in gangster rap, right? But I always came back to Elvis, dude. Like, when I was a freshman in college, I remember my first day, dude, I had a 1984 Ford LTD, Long, Timid, and Dangerous Son.
Boom!
4-door. It was beige. It wasn't, y'all. It was brown. and it was ugly, right? But let me tell you something. When I left college the first day, I rolled down all of my windows and I turned up the King Creole soundtrack as I rolled through college, and people were like, who is this dude? Why are you doing, what are you even listening to? But that's what got me, man. That's what always got me fired up. And being from Mississippi,
yeah,
there's not too many model American citizens that have come from the state of Mississippi. We've had a lot of hard times on us since the birth of the nation. I'm just going to be honest. We family here in Ryan's world. Am I wrong?
Yeah, we're
right?
all family.
So there's
all
not
family.
there's not a whole lot of model. I mean, now we have some Jerry Rice, Charlie Pride, some great folks personally. Elvis is one of those folks, right? So I always have a special kinship with Elvis, right? And then as I got into my 20s, came to Branson. My brother started working at Legends in Concert, right? So that's where the first ETA I ever met was Tony Roy.
Oh, so yeah, you
I started at the top.
yeah, you started at a level that, absolutely.
Yeah. So, it takes someone like Sean Clush. It takes someone like Cody Sauter or Dean Z or Old Big Business here to even get in that conversation, And when we talk to these contestants, you come out at the beginning of the Elvis contest at the top of the show and you ask us questions.
Yeah.
What we're looking for. I promise you boys, y'all need to pay attention to what we're telling you. It's not just lip service out there. We are 100% honest. If I tell you this is what I'm looking for and you just completely and totally throw caution to the wind, I'm going to remember that.
Well, the other thing is, I think that is important to notice, and I get this sense because I see you backstage. I talk to you backstage when, and we know each other. You're literally trying to give the guys a blueprint of how to, this is how you win me over. This is what I'm looking for.
Yep.
You give me that, you're going to get the best scores.
And not only that, if you give me that and then you give me something that I didn't expect, then you're going to get even more of a boost, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where everything has to be right.
Yeah.
There aren't too many people that are the same across the board as far as look and vocal and dance and all that stuff. So when you find someone like that, odds are that's the person that's going to be towards the top of the scorecard because they don't have a glaring weakness. You know? At the end of the day, the first time I ever judged, I got some advice from Rob Horton.
Okay.
And Rob said, pretend like you're casting a show.
Who
would you cast in your show? And that's not my sole basis, but that's a good starting place when you're judging one of these contests.
That's very interesting. Rob Horton is production manager at Legends in Concert in Branson, Missouri. So, well, I'll tell you what, man, let's just kind of go through this. First, this was our first year, Branson Elvis Festival, of going 2 days.
Yep.
And it was kind of one of the ideas I brought up and just said, these guys are traveling. It literally might cost a guy $1,000 to show up and be in this contest. So I felt like, you know what? Let's give them more bang for their buck. And also the fans. I mean, a lot of fans have said, listen, it's awesome, but there's so much packed into one massive show. I love the fact that we can take a field of contestants, let them have the right amount of songs, more than one, and then break it up into, okay, here's your upper echelon. Go home and sleep on it next day. I like it. How do you feel about it?
I loved it. So you're a big movie buff, like myself. Okay. So do you remember there was a nice period from probably like 1984 to probably like 2012 or 2013 when the Academy Awards were awesome?
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute, right? But do you remember? It didn't matter if it was 4.5 hours, right?
Right.
You were there, right? You were sold out. So sometimes you didn't care as much about the movies, and that 4.5 hours, it got to be a little bit long, and you were tired at the end of it. You were still happy that Forrest Gump won Best Picture, right? But you were a little tired at the end of it, right? So I think that's what happened the last couple of years. They wanted to grow the contest bigger,
right?
But it was humanly impossible to make it any bigger, any longer. You got after parties after. You got all kind of stuff to consider. People got to get out and make flights. And just like you were saying, there are travel arrangements and all that stuff. So it makes a lot of sense. The first time I ever saw it, I went up to Ronnie Craig's
Elvis Explosion.
Explosion. Lacrosse, right? Yeah. I was one of the judges up there, right? And Ronnie told me, he's like, dude, ever since I switched to 2 days, he's like, I've seen such a difference. And not only the crowds, their reactions, because you get a nice build up, you get a nice tease, as we like to say, the night before, and you get everybody fired up to come back. And I myself, I was much more laid back on Sunday because it was the most difficult field we have ever had at this. And it was tough. So I was like, wow, me boys.
Yeah,
That's essentially what happened.
And I think it's nice. It's almost like taste testing or something like that. Or a wine tasting where you have to cleanse your palate before you get the next rendition. And I think that night of sleep and then coming back, not only for the contestants but also for the judges and also for the fans. I mean, let's face it. At the end of the day, everybody has their limit.
Right.
Of what you can absorb. Obviously, the guys are only singing one or two songs, but it is a very stressful time for them. It's tough for the judges to stay focused, and it's tough for the audience to be, invested and involved and give the energy that you want when you're getting into 3-hour shows. So I think it was a good decision. We would be interested. I'd love to hear what you folks have to say about that. Please comment if you came out or whatnot. Please comment below. Just let us know, did you like the 2-day thing? Did you not?
Well, and technically, man, let's go ahead and call it what it is, because it's the contest, but the festival itself. I really love the fact that once they started calling it the Branson Elvis Festival, it became more than just a contest.
Yeah.
It expanded, right? And I love the fact that next year you and Cody and Dean are all three doing shows, man. To me, that's going to bring them in for miles and miles and miles. Right?
I think it's awesome too that, you have, here we are in Branson, Missouri, and you've got, those guys just, within a very short radius. We're here. And if Branson, by the way, the only Elvis Presley Enterprises sanctioned Elvis event in Branson, it's a big deal to be able to have Cody Ray Slaughter, to be able to have Dean Z, who are also, Elvis Presley Enterprises has endorsed them. So it's a very important thing, I think, to bring him in, and I'm happy that Cody Ray was able to do it. Obviously, Dean's done it here in the past, but I think it's a good thing. So that's the goal. Let's continue to grow it, not to grow it just, because of, box office receipts or whatnot.
Right.
Grow the experience.
And not only that, but if you grow the experience, then if you're not looking at the demographic below the demographic that's there, then you're not looking. And the one thing that I love about this contest is people bringing their kids to see. And not only that, but we had 2 young contestants, right, that are coming up. I love to see that, man. I absolutely love it. And my hope really is that when this new Baz Luhrmann movie comes out, that it's going to be a huge hit and that a whole new generation of folks are going to get exposed to it.
Yeah, and what's interesting, I mean, it happened with Lilo and Stitch, believe it or not.
Oh, I remember.
It literally, it had an impact. So, this is going to be a big thing. July, I forget what
We'll fix it in post. It's fine. Yeah.
Whatever the release date is right here. That's right here.
Right there across the bottom of the screen.
It might be up here now.
It might be bouncing around.
Oh,
dude, make it shoot out of my Stormtrooper gun.
Oh.
Boom.
Yep. Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice. But speaking of EPE, do you know how big of a deal that is, Pelton? That they endorsed this contest, 11 years ago, 12 years ago? Is that right? Is it
15?
Oh, no.
16 will be next year. Yeah.
Wow. It seems like I was at the first one at what's Clay Cooper Theaters now. And if I'm not mistaken, Matt Joyce, baby, won the first Branson.
Matt Joyce.
I'm pretty sure
That's
Matt
awesome.
Joyce did. Yes, boy. That's the first time I heard E-Rock sing as well. One of my favorite ETA voices out there. E-Rock kills.
Wasn't that awesome when his belt fell off?
Oh, dude. So, and not only that, man, but the fact that he didn't even let it, I mean, he just kept running on easy.
You know how he is. He's like backstage, and I right before he went on, he goes, "Man, my belt's just not going to stick. My body heat is Velcro, and it's just not going to work. I'm going to hold it." I was like, "Oh, you rock. God bless you." And you know what? His belt fell, and I was like, "Oh gosh, I hope that doesn't."
Oh, no,
affect
let me tell you something.
Score.
Had he stopped and picked up his belt and cried and ran off stage, then it would have affected the score. But to be honest, it actually endeared him a little bit more that he was able to keep it rolling and make a little bit out of it, because that's exactly what Elvis would have done. I mean, 100%.
Yeah. And I tried. That's why I came out and I threw my belt down, just to kind of be like, golly, let's make this guy not feel as bad. The other thing is, this is a paranoid whatever of mine. Jumpsuits, I have to wear a jumpsuit. I'm not necessarily, I don't always love wearing a jumpsuit, but a jumpsuit without a belt, in my opinion, just looks silly.
It looks like you're wearing a onesie.
Yeah.
With rhinestones and sequins on.
Exactly. So whenever I just thought, I put myself in his position, I was like, man, I would not like to be in a jumpsuit in front of people with no belt on. I don't know why, but
so speaking of jumpsuits, can I take this opportunity to grab my soapbox and speak on?
I think you should.
Okay.
And I think that we've kind of talked about some of this. I think I know what you're going to say, and if it is, I think I'm probably in your same camp. But take it away.
All right. So when I was a young'un coming up, 12, 13 years old, we're talking about late 80s here, the whole Elvis tribute artist kind of became a punchline. It was played for laughs, for jokes, a lot of movies, a lot of pop culture-y kind of stuff, right? And it was always Big Elvis in a jumpsuit, right? Okay. So for several years, ETA sort of went away from that because of the negative connotation that it held. People went back to the 50s, right? Rockabilly Cat, Memphis Flash, all that stuff, up to 68. He had movies, you had all sorts of stuff in between there that you could do, right? But a lot of folks went right up till the jumpsuit, right? Well, then once those guys got into it, right, the jumpsuit sort of came back, man. People started realizing, hey, man, we shouldn't have been talking trash like that, because Elvis was awesome, dude. When you're watching Elvis on stage with the full band behind him and whatnot with the jump, dude, absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. However, I said all that to say this. If you are under the age of 40 years old, do not come out in a jumpsuit. I promise that will turn me off quicker than anything. You should not rush to be in a jumpsuit. You should enjoy the musical journey, right? That's one of the things I loved about the two young kids, Moses and Riley. That's one, that they were era appropriate. Right. And it just takes me out of the illusion. Like, you're literally, it does. It breaks the illusion.
Yeah. And like, those guys are 21.
Yeah. No.
I mean, think of Elvis at 21.
Yeah.
They were trying to be Elvis at 21. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've thought that forever. And I've even said as much a couple years ago. Right. And like, again, listen to what we say. Like, it kind of fell on deaf ears a little bit. And there are a couple of guys that I think if they would maybe cut their hair, right? Maybe a little bit short, a little bit different hairstyle, and choose a different era, and maybe do a little makeup. Maybe their look would be a little better. One of my favorite people in this whole world, George Trillinger.
Oh yeah,
Buddy Holly tribute artist.
Awesome.
Dude, one of the best tribute artists in the business. His Mick Jagger's pretty fun.
Hey, hold on though. Okay. Before just real quick, take a look at George.
I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna be. You're gonna give your love to me. Nice to have so many young people here tonight. We just got back from playing in Florida. Take it from me, this is a young crowd. It's so easy to fall in love. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Fall in love. Just the drums. It's so easy to fall in love. Let's do one more. This is from the movie The Buddy Holly Story. Okay, all the songs I sing are from the movie The Buddy Holly Story. All of my love, all of my kissing, you don't know what you've been missing, oh boy. Oh boy, you're with me, oh boy. How about this band tonight? How about the Ed Sullivan Show? Ed Sullivan. Remember Ed used to come out every Sunday night looking just like this. Really big shoe, really fine shoes. Remember the first rock and roll song you ever heard? From a movie with Glenn Ford, Blackboard Jungle. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock. Everybody sing. Nobody knows the rest of it, no. Dale, Dale. And all them cars, fellas, remember the cars you drove in the 50s? All them great automobiles. And what we'd like to do in the back seat of them cars. We listened to music. That's what we did. We went to drive-ins, listened to music. All great music. And it's not like that stuff they have today. You know what I'm talking about. Peggy Sue, pretty, 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 pretty.